Today I'm going to be doing a quick repair on this Fender Musicmaster Bass amp. This one belongs to a musician who travels, and as far as I know, the amp itself actually works like it should already, but the problem is the speaker has a couple of puncture wounds in it. He said it took a tumble in the back of the van. So let's take a look at the speaker and see if we can repair it. Okay, so now that we've turned the amp around, we can see that it has the original 12-inch CTS speaker. We can see 137, 73, 1973, 137 being the manufacturer code for CTS. And we can see there are two sort of punctures or tears, one right there and one over here. And actually I have those backlit, so if I turn off the front facing light, you can probably see them a little better now. So there's the one and there's the other one. So we're going to take the speaker out and we're going to glue those up and we'll leave it overnight. And as always, when we're soldering on speakers, it's a good idea to put a little piece of paper behind the terminals covering the cone, just in case you drop any solder in there. A couple things I noticed about the speaker is extremely dusty, and also there's some paper coming up here. I'm just gonna cut that. It doesn't make much sense to me to try to glue this back down, and if I just leave it the way it is, it's just going to be something that's flapping around. Okay, we have our two holes right here and right there. I'm gonna try to gently get some of the dust off with just a 2-inch paintbrush. Okay, I at least got most of the dust off of these two parts. I don't know if it really looks any different, but there's noticeably less dust in person. You can see there's kind of more in the middle and not so much on those parts where the holes are. To patch these holes, I'm going to be using Plyo Bond, general purpose adhesive. This glue stays flexible, so it's good to use on speakers so that they can still move with sound waves just like they're supposed to. It doesn't dry hard like super glue would or anything like that. And I'm not going to be adding anything to the speaker. I'm just going to be gluing the paper back how it was originally. Also, I'll be using a toothpick or two to manipulate the paper back into place and to apply the Plyo Bond. At this angle you can really see where I got some dust off there. And here's a big stripe of dust right in the middle, and you can see where I got most of the dust off near the holes. There's a big dust bunny. I'm gonna flip the speaker over and try to push that one through from the other side. My goal here is to try to get this as flat and as flush as possible with the rest of the cone, so that when I glue it, it'll hopefully be almost invisible. I'm using my finger behind the cone and I'm kind of doing this to pat it down flush. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, these both look pretty good on this side. I'm going to look at them both on the other side now and see if they look pretty flush on the other side. That one doesn't really look that flush. I'm going to see if I can get some of these high spots down. might be about as good as we can do. There's a spot right here that's kind of wrinkled, but I can't seem to get it unwrinkled, and I'm afraid I'm going to tear it completely off if I try to apply too much pressure. Now we look good on this side, so we'll go back and check on the other side on that one. And while we have the speaker turned over this way, let's address this one. Okay, that feels and looks pretty flat. Actually, neither of them look very flat on the front now that I've pushed them through from the back. So I'm kind of just going back and forth and trying to find that equilibrium where they're kind of sitting perfectly flat. I'll turn it over one last time. If I can avoid messing with this one, I think it's pretty much perfect, but this one might need a little bit more back and forth. This one can use just a bit right there. I'm just barely touching it right now. Okay, I think I'm done with that one. I'm not going to touch that one anymore. I'm just going to put glue on it. This one looks pretty good on this side, but it looks quite bad on the other side. So I'm going to kind of push it back through. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. That's probably about as good as we're going to get. One more time, let's look at it from the other side. That one looks pretty good. I think that's as good as we're going to get. So let's glue it up. Take just the tiniest little glob and apply it all along the seam here. It really doesn't take much. Kind of soaks into the paper and becomes part of the cone. I think that one looks pretty good. Let's move on to the other one. All right, I gotta be really careful because this one really wants to go back through. Since these holes are pretty big, I think I'm going to apply a little bit of glue to the back side of the seams too. Now I'm pretty happy with both of those. I'm gonna leave this overnight and we're gonna check back on it in the morning. Okay, so it's the next day and our glue is dry, and if I press on it with my finger from the back side, you can see the tear doesn't come through, kind of just bulges up like any other spot on the speaker would, like here for example. It just looks the same no matter where I press on it. And of course I'm not pressing on it too hard because I don't want to break the speaker or anything, but our glue joints have held and we're ready to put the speaker back into the cabinet. Before we do put it back in, I'm going to take my paintbrush and just clean the dust out of the corners here. So now it's time to put it back into the cabinet. Now, if you're ever putting a speaker into a cabinet that has the screws that come out through the baffle like this, it can be a little bit intimidating because if you miss, you run the risk of punching that screw through the speaker cone. And since we just fixed a puncture on the speaker cone, we really don't want to repeat that. So what I like to do is just pick any two. This one has 4 screws. You know, if you have more than 4, if you have 6 or 8, this works too. Just pick any 2 screws and line them up with the holes. And the beauty of it is that all the other screws should line up really closely if you just pick any 2 and line them up. Also, just be really slow and careful. It helps if you pick 2 that are across from each other, but you can do 2 next to each other and you'll still be really close. And now it's time to solder on our speaker wires. I just wanted to give one last look at how our speaker repair looks from the rear. You can still tell that there was damage, but just like on the front, we have nice glue joints, and all of our paper that was once bent and torn out of shape is now flush. It has the scars, but it functions perfectly. Alright, that was our quick repair on the speaker for this Musicmaster Bass. So now the owner can keep the original speaker in there if he so desires, and it didn't take very long. We only took overnight to do the repair, so he can get back on the road with this thing, and hopefully it doesn't take too many other tumbles. He can get back to using it for what it's intended for, and that is making music. If you liked this video or found it entertaining or helpful in any way, please consider subscribing to my channel, because I'm going to continue to make videos like this. And if there's anything in this video that you'd like to talk to me about, or if you have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching.